Yo, what's up, tech dudes? Today I'm going to compare the Intel Sandy Bridge, right here, the Sandy Bridge, Costa Rica, and the Intel Ivy Bridge, the new one that is released in 2012. Ooh, bad quality. Alright, so first off, I'll start with the Sandy Bridge. This processor was launched in the fourth month of 2011. And it has 4 cores and 8 threads. The 8 threads will provide you 4 more virtual cores. That's where hyperthreading comes in. The 4 cores is 4 physical cores, and the other 4 threads turn into 4 virtual cores. The clock speed, base clock speed of the Intel i7-2700K is 3.5 GHz, while the Turbo Max overclock, self overclock is 3.9. Turbo frequency is basically when you have an application that only needs 2 threads out of your 8 threads. So it's gonna boost the frequency up on the 2 threads or the 2 cores, and then make it run faster and get the performance out of it. So the Intel Smart Cache is exactly the same as the Ivy Bridge with 8 megabytes. They all support 64-bit. By now, you should have a 64-bit computer. The main differences between the i7 and the i7, the Sandy and the Ivy, is that the Sandy is using another architecture. It's using 32 nanometer instead of 22 nanometer, which is on the Ivy. That means less power draw, less heat output, and more efficient. And the Sandy uses up to 95 watts on stock speeds. If you start overclocking the Sandy, it's gonna heat up so bad. Even if you have the V10 from Cooler Master, you put that, slap it on there, you overclock it, it's still gonna heat it up, even with a thermal Peltier cooler on it. So the Sandy Bridge uses an older Intel 3000 graphics with a faster graphics clock speed at 850 megahertz, while the Ivy, I'll show you later, is 650 megahertz, and it's also Intel 4000. So the Sandy Bridge does not support WiDi, which is wireless display, and it's like you have the CPU and you want to beam or display what's on your computer to your media PC that also has WiDi. So if you want to do that, you just use the WiDi and then you beam it over to media PC that's connected to the TV, and you got whatever you want. Yeah. The max monitor supported on the Intel 3000 is 2. The PCI Express chipset on the Sandy Bridge goes up to version 2.0. The max temperature for the Sandy Bridge is 72.6 degrees Celsius, while on the Intel Ivy Bridge is a bit lower, coming at 67.4 Celsius. The Intel Ivy and Sandy both use the same socket, LGA 1155, but you have to have a chipset that actually supports Ivy in order to use Ivy. I'm not sure if the Ivy will fit in a Sandy board. Let me know in the comments. So it's basically the same Intel speed step, hyperthreading, getting more virtual cores. Yeah, that's it. Okay. So the Ivy Bridge is launched in the 2nd month of 2012. It's the model number is 3770K. These are they're both the highest in i7 that is not Extreme Edition. So this also has 4 cores and 8 threads, which gives you 8 cores, which shows as 8 cores in your task manager. but it's actually for physical cores and for virtual cores. So the clock speed on this and the turbo frequency is exactly the same as the Sandy Bridge. And by now you should have a 64-bit computer. If not, get one. The architecture on the Sandy Bridge is a 22 nanometer. That means more power efficient, less power draw, less heat output, and better performance. Especially when you overclock this thing. This doesn't. You could overclock with a stock Intel cooler. Just overclock with a stock one. You could probably get to 4 GHz, no problem. The max and the prices they are about the same. The 4000 graphics on the Ivy is clocked slower, but it performs way better. And it has everything that Intel provides. And it also supports 3 displays, instead of the 2 displays that is on the Sandy Bridge. Also, the new Intel Ivy also supports PCI Express 3.0. That means the newer graphics cards like the 690 from Nvidia, the GTX 690, or the 7970. Wait, I believe that's 2.1. I'm not sure. Leave in the description. So yeah, the 690, 680s. But the PCI 3.0, if you have a PCI 2.0 slot with a PCI 3.0 graphics card, the bottleneck will be your motherboard or the CPU, because if you have a PCI 3.0 card, the bandwidth is way more than a PCI 2.0 slot. So keep in mind. The max temperature for the Intel Ivy Bridge is 67.4 degrees. Even though it's lower than the Sandy Bridge, this thing produces way less heat. Even at 4.4 gigahertz on what, the H100 from Corsair, it never goes above 60 degrees Celsius. And 67.4 degrees is the safe operating temperature. That means Intel tested it and stressed it. It's a safe disk. They all have the hyperthreading, speed step. Yeah. And if you're planning to use a graphics card combined with this Intel i7 Ivy Bridge processor, you could use a virtual MVP compatible motherboard. That means you could use the 4000 graphics, onboard graphics, switch it between the 2 graphics, or make the 4000 graphics help your graphics card when it's like rendering, or improve performance. So in the end, I will recommend you buy a Intel Ivy Bridge unless you have a pretty high-end Intel Sandy Bridge. Yeah, because the price are the same, but it's just the motherboard is different. And if you want me to choose a motherboard that goes along this, I'll probably choose the new ASUS Maximus 5. Yeah, that's about it. So, thank you for watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment.